All right, in today's video, I want to dive deep into the topic of fear, how it affects you, how it prevents prospects and sales calls, for example, and yourself from taking action, and how you can actually overcome and eliminate it. So, just starting off, I want to touch on a few, general kind of key facts, which are still very important to keep in mind. So, first of all, you have to know and understand that fear is one of the most powerful emotions that we as human beings can experience and encounter pretty much. And it's even stronger than love. And the reason for that is because when we think back in time, right, like hundreds of years ago when we've been living in caves, and when we had to fight for survival, hunt animals and make sure to not die every single day, pretty much, right? Fear, like the emotional state of fear, was very crucial in order for us to actually be able to survive every single day and every single night, right? To be able to wake up the next day next to our wife and our kids in our tribe. So the emotion of fear is deep down kind of encoded in our DNA, right? It's an instinct thing, pretty much, like based on survival. Once again, based in in regards to the time, hundreds of years ago. Now, the problem, let's say, quote unquote, the problem that we have nowadays is, so many things change compared to hundreds of years ago, right? I mean, thank God we don't have to live in forests anymore. We don't have to fight for animals. I mean, in most cases, and generally speaking, we are quite comfortable nowadays, right? That's another topic for another video, but that's just a fact. Now, once again, the problem with this whole situation is that all of these things change, the surroundings change, right? The lives, the realities that we have nowadays change completely, pretty much, compared to hundreds of years ago. But still, we have the same hardware. Our bodies are still the same they have been like hundreds of years ago. I mean, they may be like some, minor changes and improvements kind of, with evolution. But generally speaking, we are still human beings. We still have the same bodies. So nowadays, right, once again, we don't have to fight for survival, but we encounter situations and stress factors in work, in business, when a tax bill comes or like whatever it might be. And all of these things still trigger this emotional state of fear, of stress, right? And I'm gonna talk more about it like in a second, like what happens in your brain and everything. But still, those things happen, right? Even though we don't have to fight for survival anymore. So that's the reason for that, pretty much. Now, besides of that, one last thing before we hop into the main topic. It obviously, influences your rational decision making. When you are in a state of fear, when you constantly have to think about all the things that you have to manage, like that, okay, if I don't pay the bill right now, especially in business, this might happen, right? When I do this right now, this might happen. When you're constantly in this state, you will have a very fucking difficult time to make rational decisions. And let's face it, gentlemen, if you run a business, you have to take rational decisions and you have to be able to take rational decisions on a daily basis. Otherwise, you'll fail big time and you will have a very fucking difficult time to do anything in life and in business. So, first of all, and actually let me zoom in a little bit if I can, actually. Yeah, I can. So I just decided to put in this little, graph or like this picture, like whatever you want to call it, with this stress curve. Just a little nice something to have inside. But what I really want to focus on right now is the last part of this picture, like of this curve, should I say? And I, even put this purple. I mean, you gotta stay true to your branding, obviously. A circle around it, because the reason for that is that most people nowadays, and especially entrepreneurs, most entrepreneurs nowadays are truly in this stage. They're constantly stressed out, they're constantly in an emotional state of fear because, once again, of different reasons in regards to business. And this causes them to constantly have anxiety, to have this feeling, on their chest. It's like, where it's like, fuck, I don't know what I should do. I don't know what might happen. I don't know, will this work out, or like whatever, right? This constant state, and I'm pretty sure you've experienced this already. Maybe you're going through something like that right now, because it's a very common thing, right? And this is also, amongst of many other things, one of the main reasons why so many entrepreneurs, and especially guys, like male entrepreneurs, find themselves struggling with having drive and motivation, right? They reach certain positions with their business and then it's like, okay, done. I don't want to do shit anymore. I don't feel like I have my purpose anymore. I don't fulfill my purpose anymore as a man, as a business person, and I just don't have any drive whatsoever to keep going. So that's also one of the main reasons. And generally speaking, because talking about this whole thing, would be way too long right now. But if you are in this stage for longer periods of time, that's really bad. Let's put it like that. It's really fucking bad. So that's also why you really need to work on that, and that's also why I want to talk about the things that I'm going to talk about in a second, to help you to get from this position, like more to the middle part, let's say, right? To have a healthy balance, because that's key pretty much. Now, anyways, just to zoom out real quick. First of all, where does fear come from? Now, why do I want to talk about this? This is not a biology class or like whatever, but still, it is very important that you actually understand what is happening, that you actually understand what is going on inside of yourself, because only when you know how things work, only when you know how certain things, are happening pretty much, only then are you able to change things. So, yeah, not to, overdo it right now, not to bore you right now, but just kind of a quick kind of introduction. Stress, or like, let's say fear, like, negative emotions that you encounter as a human being on, a daily basis, let's say, all those things come from the amygdala. And in full honesty, I had to, literally repeat this word over and over again until I got it right. And I may fuck up at some point again, but now I got it right, the amygdala. Now, once again, to keep it very short and simple, it's like this almond-shaped thing in the middle of your brain. It's pretty small, it's not too big. And this is literally where the emotions of, fear and anxiety, stress, are coming from, right? The amygdala, I got it right once again, then I'm proud, is releasing those things, right? Out of this position. This is literally where they're born pretty much. Now, whenever you encounter a stressful situation, or like whenever you encounter fear in any shape or form or like whatsoever, the amygdala releases adrenaline and cortisol. Adrenaline, I don't think I have to, talk about this too much. I think you should know what adrenaline is. But cortisol, also called the stress hormone, self-explanatory. I don't think I have to go too much into that. When this happens over longer periods of time, you will have a lot of impacts on your health. And I'm not only talking about your mental health. When your body is constantly, for longer periods of time exposed to stress, to adrenaline, to higher kind of releases, like amounts of stress and adrenaline and cortisol, there are so many impacts, and kind of downsides to that. So many things that might happen with your health, generally speaking, once again, in every single form, like mind-wise, health-wise, body-wise, that will affect you. Like, honestly, I can talk about this in the next video, because once again, this will be way too long, but I just want you to understand that. Now, so this is pretty much where, where the magic, like the dark magic in this way is happening, right? This is where everything comes from. Now, how can you eliminate this? How can you actually, because, I mentioned it, how can you actually eliminate fear when you're experiencing it? How can you actually eliminate that? First of all, research shows that the best way to deal with negativity is to observe without reaction and without judgment. And I know this is way easier said than done, because let's be honest, when you encounter such a situation, you're like, fuck, I feel very bad right now. I'm very stressed. I'm kind of scared of what is going to happen. It's very difficult to, in this kind of situation, stay kind of neutral and observe this whole thing from a bird's eye perspective. But once again, you have to train that, right? You have to train that and repeat it over and over again. At some point, you will actually master this skill, let's say, right? Because at the end of the day, it is a skill to be able to detach yourself and look at this whole thing from a bird's eye perspective. So that's very important. And then, besides of that, or like on top of that, consciously labeling each negative feeling and replacing it with positive, compassionate, and solution-based thoughts. Also, once again, easier said than done, but just to add one thing to that, that is one of the main reasons why journaling is so fucking crucial and important and powerful. Like, honestly, because when you combine this whole thing, this whole concept in a way, right, with journaling, like sitting down, writing down those feelings and thoughts that you have, and then replacing them with those positive ones instead, this will become way more powerful, because you write it down, you see it, you have to write it with your hand, and this way you actually internalize this way more inside of your brain. You literally kind of put that into your brain, right? So that is very, very important. And besides of that, as cliche as this may sound right now, because at this point every single entrepreneur is talking about meditation, right? You have to meditate. It's so fucking important. And it feels like to me that nowadays most entrepreneurs just do it just because it's kind of trendy, because everyone is talking about it, without really knowing what the benefits are. I mean, obviously we all know meditation is good somehow, and there are like literally thousands. I'm not even kidding. Actually, I have a very good book about it. It's called Altered Traits. Really recommend it. It's about meditation, how it changes and influences your body. But anyways, what I really want to touch on right now is meditation, especially in this case, when we talk about fear. It strengthens the link between the prefrontal cortex, which is like this area of your brain, and amygdala. And also, what is also very crucial right now, it actually shrinks the amygdala, which also minimizes the amount of cortisol and adrenaline that the amygdala is releasing, right? So in short, when you meditate, you actually minimize the amount of stress that you are experiencing, the amount of fear that you're experiencing in stressful situations or in situations where you actually would have a lot of fear, right? So the next time when you encounter something, and normally you would be like, oh, fuck, it's over. I don't know what to do. It's so tough, I have fucked up or like whatever. The next time, if up to this point you have been meditating over and over again, if you kind of perfected, this art, this skill of meditation, because of the impact it has on the amygdala, you won't feel like that anymore. You will be able to be way more calm, way more balanced and neutral, and with that you will be able to take way more rational decisions, which once again, at the end of the day, is very fucking important if you're running a business, if you want to see success with your business, right, and not fuck up completely. Now, besides of that, we actually had a full call, a full community call in Mind Plus some time ago at this point. It's literally like 60, 70 minutes long, where we talk deep about, more in depth about this whole topic, about the amygdala, about stress factors and fear, how you can actually change it, how you can really resolve it, how you can actually recover from that really, really quickly, right? It's like a very long call, very in-depth call, with a lot of our members. So if you want to get the full call, then just make sure to comment MIND in the comments. I will make sure to reach out to you and then, provide you with the full call, because once again, it was a very, very in-depth and informative one. So last but not least, how can you actually eliminate fear in conversations or calls? And actually, let me take one sip of water because I'm very thirsty right now. So, what is the best way of eliminating fear in prospects, let's say, like generally speaking, people that you're talking to? Now, one important thing to keep in mind when we talk about this thing right now is the faster you can interrupt the amygdala's reaction to real or imaginary threats, the faster you can clear the road of obstacles, and the quicker you can generate feelings of safety, a good vibe, and trust, right? So what does it mean? A lot of people, when they are on a call, like when they talk with someone and the person expresses some sort of, uncertainty or like fear, like whatever it might be, a lot of people just stay on the surface level. They're like, okay, yeah, I understand you, but I can guarantee you we can help you, right? They don't really go in depth, like they don't really listen on a deeper level to this person. This way you will never be able to actually resolve the problem where it comes from, which once again is at the level of the amygdala. So it's very, very important to truly understand the person and go very deep and resolve the problem, once again, and to repeat myself, where it actually comes from, at the level of the amygdala. Now, how can you do this? First of all, you have to label the fears. You have to label the fears, mention them, address them openly, and this way show the person that you're talking to that you actually understand the person. Once again, I talked about it right now. Go in depth. Don't stay on the surface level. When you try to do like the classic, objection handling or like whatever, really go deeper. Have enough respect for the person you're talking to that you actually want to learn more about the situation. Allow themselves to express themselves, to talk more about the problem, because this way you can get deeper and deeper and resolve the problem where it comes from. Now, just before we end things off right here, I want to give you like a short example to kind of clarify that, like make it even more clear right now in your situation. So let's say you're on a sales call, right? You're talking to a prospect, you did your classic, the obvious, objection handling, but you feel the prospect still isn't really sure about it. The person you're talking to is still like, I don't know, and you have the feeling that it will be a no, that the person just doesn't want to do it anymore, and it feels like you already lost, the conversation, the negotiation, or let's say the call in this case, right? So what you can do in this kind of situation, instead of being like, okay, no, fuck it, it's over, address it. Be very open and transparent, and say something like, I am sensing some hesitation with the things we can offer to you, right? And also frame that in a question, like as a question, so the person that you're talking to, the prospect, actually knows that he or she should respond to that, right? Don't make it sound as a statement. Focus on making it sound as a question, right? Because when you do that, then the prospect in this case will answer to that. He or she will open up about it. In most cases, once again, just an example. In most cases, you will get something like, I just don't think this would be a good decision for me right now. Right? I love how everything sounds. That's a very classic one. I love how everything sounds, but I just don't think this would be a good decision for me right now. And once again, most people at this point would be so hurt. The ego would be like, it's over. He said like, no, I suck, or like whatever. No, like really. Obviously, with all the respect towards the person you're talking to, that is very, very important. Obviously, I hope I don't have to mention that right now, but you can then ask something like, do you mind asking me why? Like literally let the person explain why they feel like that. Let them talk. Once again, let them explain why they feel like that. So it may be something like, I just have to focus on my financials right now, with the business and also with the family, right? I have to be very careful with the decisions that I make. Now, in this situation already, you know way more about the situation of the person, right? Of the prospect. Because you know why he might feel the way he feels. You know why he feels, threatened, like why he has this fear in his mind, that is preventing him from actually saying yes and, becoming a client of yours, a customer of yours. So in that situation right now, you should say something along the lines of, it seems that you really care about being able to provide for yourself and especially for your close ones, so they can fully trust you and don't need to worry about anything. Once again, silence after that, right? Let the person talk. And I can guarantee you that 1,000,000% that in this kind of situation, the person you're talking to will open up automatically. Because in this point, at this stage, let's say, they see and feel, okay, the person actually is understanding me, right? He actually listens to me. He actually understands where I'm coming from. It's not like, oh yeah, no, I know it sucks, but I can promise you we can help you. You don't have to worry about that, right? Nobody wants to hear it. Like when you say something like that, once again, you won't change the problem, like you won't resolve the problem where it comes from, at the level of the amygdala. I said this with so many times, I'm actually very proud that I didn't fuck up once. So the prospect will open up automatically. And then once again, it's just a matter of listening even more, going even more in depth, really reassuring that you understand where the person is coming from. And then you can also say something like, I have the biggest respect for you, truly. And I would never want to put you in a position that would hurt your relationship with your family, like your close ones or your family. And now that I truly know where you're coming from, I will make extra sure that we can generate the results, or like that we generate actually the results that I promised you. And then, to kind of end it off, do you trust me? And I can guarantee you once again, in this kind of situation, in 99.9% of the times, the person that you're talking to will say yes. They will feel very good about you and about this whole thing, about the decision they're about to take. Why? Because you really showed them that you understand them. You eliminated the fear that they had on a deeper level. You really went deep. You showed them, okay, I understand you. I understand your struggle right now. I understand why you have this feeling, but I can reassure and guarantee 100% that you won't be in this position. I will make sure to do that. They have way more trust towards you. Because once again, not to repeat myself, they understand, okay, he actually understands me. So now he won't let me fuck up, right? So that's literally how you resolve the emotion of fear, or like, stress, or like whatever, in yourself, and especially also in people that you're talking to, like prospects in this case, when we talk about business. So to sum it up, a very quick kind of points. First of all, eliminate fear, generally speaking, as much as possible, so you don't end up in this position right here. So eliminate fear, obviously, as much and as often as possible, but also eliminate fear where it really comes from, on a deeper level. Once again, you have to understand your point of view and the point of view of the person that you're talking to. Second of all, go deeper. I mean, I kind of touched on it already. Go deeper and truly understand the person that you're talking to. Third of all, when we talk about your own situation, eliminate the fear that you have, that you're facing, or like that you're experiencing right now, by observing without judging once again, and utilizing, especially because it's so easy, you can literally start doing that after this call, especially by utilizing journaling and meditating. Those two things, you can literally start doing that after this call, and you will have a huge impact already. Like I can guarantee you that you will have a huge impact, a huge change that you will encounter when you actually implement those two things. Because yeah, if we're being honest, the less fear, the better your health, the better your mind, the better your overall life, and also at the end of the day, the better the decisions that you take on a daily basis in business or in life, or like whatever it might be. So yeah, that was everything from my side. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I really hope you learned something from that. Once again, if you want to go more in depth about this whole topic, learn even more things that you can implement, how you can resolve problems that you're facing right now, especially in business, then make sure to comment mind below this video. Once again, I will make sure to reach out to you directly, so you can get this whole video and watch through it, because once again, a lot of value in this in these like 60-70 minutes. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one.